Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting MacWhisperer live broadcast. I'm Frank, I'm your host for today as usual, and of course we're excited to have you here. Have you ever started journaling but struggled to stay consistent? Or maybe you tried different apps but nothing feels quite right? Well, again, it's your lucky day because we're diving deep into Apple's new journal app, exploring how to create, organize, and enhance your journaling habits effortlessly. Easy for you to say. Whether you're documenting memories, tracking personal growth, or simply reflecting on your day, this app is designed to make it easy and enjoyable. Plus, stick around for Dylan's MacWhisperer Power Tip. We're going to take journaling experience to the next level. And we have another smart guide for you. Download resource, go-to reference for mastering Apple's journal app and to share with your friends, only available during this live broadcast. So, you guys, for the majority of you, you know the drill. Introduce yourself in the chat. All you live loungers, let us know where you're watching from. Drop in a comment. Give us something that you'd love to improve on regarding your journaling, and we'll see what we can do to make it part of your practice. So we're going to get started with the Apple Journal. We're going to create and enhance entries, build a consistent habit, get the power tip, get your download, Q&A with Dylan, enter those questions, and I always do my best to make sure that everybody's questions are answered. So without further ado, let's bring in the MacWhisperer himself, Dylan Stewart. You with us, Dylan?
I'm here. There's a little bit of a delay. We're working on resolving that, but I am 100% here.
I'm so glad. Yeah, Dylan and I have been getting a lot of feedback from people on this delay. So we're investing. Company's going to be investing in some new equipment because that's what we do. We stay on top of the latest and greatest, and we'll be top notch within the next week or so. So please bear with us.
Yeah, one other thing, if you find that we're having an audio glitch where the audio is dropping in and out, we found that the best solution is for you to hop out of the live stream and then come back in. That usually resolves it. We found it's not everyone's having the same audio glitches. It seems to be something to do with YouTube, but logging out and logging back in works. And we're on board of fixing these little tech glitches because, again, as Frank said, that's what you do.
That's what you do.
See the problem, you solve the problem.
That's exactly it.
What you got for us today, Frank?
I know you got. I'm excited about journaling. I know everybody else is, but I got to say something about this past weekend. And for those that weren't able to join us, we had an amazing workshop Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and the reception has been overwhelming. People have been contacting us, and they asked us to extend the watching of the replays. We have all the replays from all three sessions of the classes taped, recorded. They're ready to downplay, pause, fast forward. We have a whole download smart guide that I went around with it. It was just so much fun, and everybody has been asking us to not cut it off on Monday, because originally we were going to cut it off on Monday night. But everybody was like, hey, we had the Super Bowl, we had a bunch of things going on. Anyway, that I could go on and on, but we're extending this offer, which has to do with not only being able to watch the workshop, but Dylan, maybe you want to share what that includes, because everybody is real excited with this special promotion.
Yeah, we don't do promotions like that all that often, so it's important to pay attention when we do. We've opened up the doors to the MacWhisperer membership to add some new members in that are learning on a weekly and monthly basis how to use all their Apple technology better than they ever expected before. As part of this workshop, we talked about how to manage your email, your text messages, and your address book to save you time and give you more simplicity in your life, a little bit more order and organization, and make things easier. So whether you're interested in learning about your email and your text messages and your address book, or whether you're interested in learning about more than that and figuring out how you can work with me, work with Frank, and push your technology to the next level, if you hit that QR code, you can watch the replay of all 3 days. We did 3 separate 1-hour broadcasts. It's got the smart guide there, and it's got a really special offer. Earlier this year, I built what I call the iPhone Masterclass. It is a comprehensive course starting with the very basics, the things everybody thinks they know about the iPhone, but there's some tricks and some tips that people have overlooked. Setting up these basic foundation blocks will make using the iPhone easier, and this course walks you all the way through that. And as part of our special offer and part of our sweetheart of a deal Valentine's Day special, the masterclass is now included as a part of the MacWhisperer membership. So if you check out that link, watch those replays, learn some stuff, and if you want to learn more, hop on in and join the membership while this offer is still open. We will not be extending it beyond tonight at midnight. So if you're thinking about it, if you're considering it, if you want to give a Valentine's gift to your sweetheart who doesn't know how to use her phone, this may be the perfect way to do that. And I'd love to see you guys in class.
It'll be extended through all day Friday. It's not going to be cut off tonight, just so you know.
Oh, I thought today was Friday.
Yeah, it's been a fast week. I hear you. So thank you for indulging me because I got so many emails about extending it. People wanted to be able to take advantage of it, so you guys get to see it as well. So you lucked out. But let's get to journaling. Did you want to address everybody first?
Well, I just want to say welcome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of this live broadcast. One of the things we're going to be getting into today is how to use the journaling app. Many of you don't know, but in addition to being a Mac coach and consultant, I've also been a life coach for over 10 years, helping people get the most out of their life. And one of the key tools to really, really appreciate your life and get more out of it is journaling. And nobody likes to journal. Every time I talk to a client, they're like, I don't even have a pen. Like, great, now you don't need one. Yes, you're right. Manny called it out. He said, hey, it would be great if it worked on the iPad. But let me ask you this question. How often do you have your iPad in your pocket? And how often do you have your phone in your pocket? I'm sure in the next year, Apple will extend the Journal app onto the iPad and onto the computer. But until that happens, having it in your pocket means you see something happens, you can write it down. You have to go, let me wait till I get home in front of my iPad and my big screen computer. You have it with you. And so there's always been this joke about photography. You want to know what the best camera in the world is? The one you're holding when you need to take that picture. The same is true about journaling. There's a billion journal apps. There's a billion different ways to journal. The best way to journal? Have the way to journal in front of you when you want to write something down. And the chances of having your phone with you versus an iPad or computer are way higher. So I don't disagree. I look forward to them implementing it across the ecosystem, but don't discount it because it's on the phone. The phone's a really convenient handheld device and nothing else is. We're going to talk about how to get into the Journal app. We're going to talk about how to create your journal entries, some of the tools that exist within it. And then one of my favorite parts about journaling, and I've really been diving deep into journaling, it's a great way to keep track of things that happen on a regular basis. So I'm going to teach you some of the things I'm journaling about specifically and show you how to use that as part of my power tip to keep track of anything you want to focus on, whether it's your money, your food, your health, the books you're reading, the relationships you're having. Journaling is a key habit and tool that unlocks all sorts of other capabilities for what you can do. So I'm excited to dive in and give us a little look around. Are we ready for that, Frank?
Yeah, we're going to bring up the iPhone, of course, right?
Yep.
People are asking, it's not available on the iPad, it's not on the computer, iPhone only?
Yeah, this is a brand new app. This app was released this year, and Apple tends to test drive apps on the phone first since it has the widest adoption rate. There's more phones than there are computers and iPads put together, and so it's a good place to test and kick the tires on something before they roll it out across the board. And this is not the first time they've done that. In fact, there's another app we'll be talking about in the next couple of days. I've got a YouTube video I'm shooting on it called Invites, which you'll see over here on this page. And Invites also isn't available elsewhere yet. It's just the way Apple works. They want to perfect it before they roll it out wide. And so yes, it's on your phone, but But as I said, your phone's usually with you. So keep in mind, that's a benefit. Having a journal in your hand 24/7 is better than a big screen, in my opinion. And I'm going to talk about some ways that I'm using it to overlook the fact that it's a handheld screen instead of a wide screen. And that's enough chitter chatter. Let's jump in and get started. You'll notice the journal app. It's on my bottom row, second from the left here. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. When you first come into the journal, you're going to see all of your past entries. And so you can see as I scroll through, here's each of the entries, and they're sort of encapsulated. You can see some of the photos or other attachments that I've added and a little description of the actual entry. And then clicking on it will expand it even further, allowing you to see the entire entry and see all of the pictures that you took and other things like that. So the first thing we want to talk about is up at the top, we've got a couple of tools right off the bat. We've got the ability to track, let me grab my annotator here. We've got the ability to track how many entries you've done, how many words you've written, how many days you've journaled. If you scroll across there, there's some other options that you might see as well. Up in the upper right-hand corner, we've got these three dots. These three dots can allow you to sort your journal by either entry date or moment date. The difference in that is I might have taken a picture on Friday but written the journal on Saturday. This allows me to choose whether the date that started the event is where it organizes or the date that you started the journal, and you can actually adjust the journal date. I haven't found this to be super critical, but I think it's interesting that it has the option. Down below that, we've got insights, which will tell you a little bit about how you're using the journal and how it's working. If we click into that, you'll see whether there's a streak and how long it's been going, how many entries, other information, little markings on where your journal entries have been. Kind of helpful, especially as you get the habit going. Underneath that, you've got notifications. You can set up notifications to automatically alert you on a specific schedule. You'll notice that mine is set for a Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday schedule. You can have it go all across the week. You can also have it prompt you with the notification if you're about to miss a streak. So at 9 o'clock the night before I'm going to break my streak, it can send me a notification. All of that can be configured both in the journal app or in settings under notifications. Back over here. You also have the ability to give the app health access. The health app tracks all sorts of things, and one of the things you can do in journaling is track your mood. And so if you say, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm angry, it'll track that in the health app, which can be something you can share with your doctor or your therapist or anything like that to keep a really good tag on how your emotions are doing, how your mood is doing. Somebody asked if we could use the journal for mood tracking, and it's practically built in. It's right here. You've also got the ability to lock your journal. You want to keep your journal away from prying eyes, click that lock journal app, and without your face, nobody can get into it. And you can even print and export journals, which I think is a really nice tool that they've added in here, giving you the ability to either print them to a printer or save them to a PDF so that you can put them elsewhere or even import them into another app. All of those things are under the three dots up at the top. But the real key piece in this app is this plus button that we see at the bottom middle. That's how you create an entry. So let's go ahead and create a basic entry here. When you click the plus button, you've got two ways you can create an entry. The first one is just create it from scratch by clicking New Entry up above. It'll open up a journal page, giving you the options to give it a title and just start writing and add some of the tools that we'll talk about in a few minutes. Instead of doing that, if you come down to where it says recommended or recent here, you've got the ability to let the app tell you what it thinks you should create a journal entry for. And under recommended, it's got events that you went to recently, times you took pictures, times you listened to music, people you spoke to, and even suggestions of prompts. What's the best or most awe-inspiring thing that happened to you recently? I got to do a YouTube live with some of my amazing members. That's my answer to that. And as you scroll down through these suggestions, you'll see all sorts of ideas of people you talked to, places you went, photos you took. You can see here there's an outdoor walk that I did a couple of days ago. That's maybe I want to post about that and talk about my health journey. Up at the top, next to recommended, is another automatic section called recent. And the recent section is more chronological than recommended. Recommended is grabbing dates and times and events from all over the place. And the recent is like, here's the things that happened recently. For example, I was listening to music this morning and it's got that prompt right here. Maybe I want to post on that. Or some of the people I talked to yesterday. And as you go back through it, you're going to see some of the similar recommendations from the other page, but in a more recent order, more chronological order that can make it easy. And sometimes that's helpful because when I'm inside of this, I go, oh, I want to post about something that I did the other day, and I can just go in by the calendar and find that other day entry to make that post. So we'll come back in a moment. I'm going to have Frank bring us back. I know we've got a couple of things we want to talk about before we continue on. When we come back, we're going to talk about how to create an entry a little bit more specifically. I'm going to talk about the tools that exist within the journal creation and give you some ideas about how I'm using these. Frank? He's working on it.
I'm with you. Yep.
Yeah. We got something to share with these people. We want to talk about the YouTube members. You want to? Oh, going right to the smart guide. Aren't you guys lucky? Damn, I thought he was going to wait on the smart guide, but no, smart guide now. There you go. Grab this awesome smart guide. It talks all about the journal app, talks about all of the cool things you can do in it, and many of the things we're going to talk about today are included here in this really easy to read, really easy to follow visual PDF. You can use the code that you see up above, the HTML code, or you can go ahead and use your phone to hit that QR code. Go ahead and grab that smart guide. As Frank said, these are exclusive smart guides. They're created specifically for you and my MacWhisperer members, and I love to share them and love how they've been created. Frank, anything you want to say about the smart guides?
Other than the fact that it got a lot of requests today in the chat for the smart guide, I guess everybody was jonesing for the journal. So we listen and we produce. So I'll also put it in the chat for everybody. And yeah, so I just wanted to be able to get that to everyone. And then in a little while, maybe we can talk about the YouTube membership.
Awesome. I think that's a good idea.
Good.
See, we're on it today. We're on it. We're moving quick. We got info for you. We got value for you. We're not dawdling. Let's go back to our screen share. See, just like that. Just boom, 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 boom. All right. I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and create an entry for us. And this time I'm going to start by clicking the plus button, and I'm just going to do it manually. I'm going to click the new entry button, mostly because I want to talk about the tools that exist inside the journal. First off, in the upper left-hand corner, you've got this little bookmark icon that you can see right here. And by using that bookmark icon, you can take any journal entry you've got and make it a little easier for you to find it. As with everything that I suggest here, if you bookmark every journal entry, it's useless. So pick the entries that are the most important, the ones you want to come back to, you want to revisit, maybe you need to add something to it, maybe it's something you want to share with your wife, your family, something cool that you wrote down or experienced. Use the bookmark, but use it sparingly. I'm going to go ahead and give this a title, and I'm going to dictate, and I'm going to say this out loud. Manny, anyone else who struggles with using the journal app on the phone, start using dictation. It will absolutely transform how you do this. And it's so easy to journal with your voice because you're really just talking. So I'm going to go ahead and dictate my title. YouTube Live with Frank and members. And then I'm going to come into the start writing and I'm going to just give myself a little bit of something to start with. I really love doing these YouTube Live broadcasts. It gives me an opportunity to reach out to new members and new viewers and share all sorts of cool tips and tricks, period. Hey, look at that. I did a journal entry from my phone while doing a live broadcast. I couldn't have done that on the iPad. I would have needed a second pair of hands. Sorry, I'm just playing around. In the bottom row above the keyboard, you're going to see a handful of tools. I'm going to go ahead and select the text here and click on the formatting tool on the far left. That'll give me the option to bold words, italicize, underline, strike through, create lists or other things like that. I can also click the little color thing in the lower right-hand corner to change it from black to red or blue or whatever I want to do. I really should leave that on black, I think. Turn those guys off. To the right of the formatting tool, you've got this little magic wand, and the magic wand connects to the recommendations and the recent information. So if I click on that, it pulls up this screen that gives me options to start with my journal. Now, as always, when you see this kind of, I call it a truncated screen, where they only show you the half of the screen, but they give you this little bar here, you can take that bar and raise it up to give you a full screen view, so you have a little bit more room to work. I always like to pull up that view whenever I'm doing anything on the phone because it's just easier. So here I can come in and I can tag any of the pieces that I like for this journal entry. In this case, I'm going to grab the Saban Theater trip that I took, and that's going to add all those photos in from that event really, really easily like that. So the wand is great for grabbing from the recommendations or from the recent items. To the right of that, I've got the ability to tap into my photo library. And again, exactly like I said before on this truncated screen, don't forget that when you see this little bar, all you have to do is flick it up. And now I have a much easier view to look at my pictures and really explore things. And you can also pinch and spread on your pictures in order to make them bigger or smaller. Find the specific ones you want to add. Click the Done button in the upper right-hand corner. You can search for photos. You can do anything you want from that screen like you can in the normal Photos app. To the right of that, we've got the opportunity to tap into your camera itself. This can allow you to take a picture. A little bit later, we're going to talk about some of the things I'm using my journal for. So here's a book that I'm reading, and we'll talk about how I'm using that in the journal. And I could just snap a picture of that right here. Click Use Photo at the bottom. That's going to get added into this entry. To the right of the camera icon, I've got Voice Memo. And Voice Memo can allow me to speak instead of typing. And yes, I know I'm dictating, so it's kind of crossing the same barrier, but the way the voice memo works is so awesome and it's really easy to use. So I can click right here and I can just start recording. I'm having a great time teaching people how to use the journal app and some of the great things that I am able to do with it. It makes me want to sing a song. Woohoo! There's my song. Press the stop. That voice memo gets added, and if you want to, you can even go into the voice memo and take the transcript out of the voice memo and add it directly into your journal entry. So you've got your voice plus your words. Almost better than dictation sometimes. To the right of that, we've got a location button. That can allow you to tag any location for this journal entry. Be aware you can only add one location, which I learned today while playing around for this class because I had an event that covered 3 separate locations and I wanted it in one entry, but it would only keep one. It can allow you to go ahead and search for a location or pin a location, anything you want. I'm just going to grab that location, and it tags that along with the other information up on this journal entry. So there we can see that location tagged right there, like that. And the last tool that we have on this bar is our mood tracking tool. Remember that you have to connect into Health Access the first time you use it if you want it to be connected to your health app. Once you've done that, you can click in here and it says, how are you feeling right now? Well, damn, I'm feeling very pleasant. Let's click the next button. Here it gives you options to expand upon what pleasant looks like for you. So I might be, I'm passionate, I'm happy, I'm joyful, I'm proud. Click the next button. It gives you a little bit more information of why are you feeling that way? And I might want to say self-care, spirituality, community. I would add Frank, but Frank's not one of my links here. So I guess I'll just add friends, just like that, and click the Done button. All that info gets tracked into the journal entry and also into your health app, which is a really easy way to keep track of these pieces. And then when you're done, sorry, I'm going to see one other thing. Up at the top, under the 3 dots, you can edit the date or hide the title. Remember, I just grabbed a bunch of photos from a different day for this journal event. So if I click on Edit Date, it'll give me options of, you'll see down here, photo, and the photo was February 8th. Or I can use the entry date created, which is today. Clicking on the Saturday, February 8th, it's going to show me other options because I also took a picture on February 11th that we've added into this journal. So I can pick any of those dates as my start date. Let's do February 11th. Click the Done button. And once you've completed everything, click Done, and we've just journaled. Now, what's important about this is the key to journaling is being able to get the ideas out of your head as quickly as possible so that you can reflect on them later. Whether you use a pen or dictation or voice memos or photos or an iPad or whatever you're using isn't important. What's important is that it doesn't slow you down. You've got the opportunity to jot your ideas, jot your thoughts down, and capture them. To me, the most important part of the journal is not just the entry creation, but being able to go backwards and look at these events. And so what we're going to do, we're running a little fast, which I'm excited about because it means we have time for questions. I'm going to hand this back over to Frank. Let's talk about the YouTube membership for just a moment, and then I'm going to come in. We're going to drop my favorite ways to use journal and my MacWhisperer Power Tip, which are kind of tied into each other because it's the same concept, and show you these other pieces which take what we're talking about with the journal to a completely different level. All right, Frank, you want me to launch into it?
Yeah, could you launch into it? I'm updating the smart guide because it looks like the landing page wasn't updated, so I should have that done shortly.
Awesome. See, we're real time here. I mean, I know everybody else is like, we'll do that in 3 weeks or when we get time. We're on it while we're talking because that's how efficient we're trying to be with our technology, which is what we're teaching everyone else how to do. So we're walking the talk, and I'll even share with you guys on the YouTube Live I had last week, when I went to share my screen, it slowed my computer down so much that I decided to buy a new computer because that's what you do. That's what I do. And I have all these clients of mine that say, well, it still works. I'm going to hold on to it till it dies. You want to know the worst time to replace a computer? When you have to, because that's more expensive, more time consuming, and then you're in a mad dash rush. You buy the wrong machine because it's the only one they had in stock. Plan your purchases out. For me, I got the warning call last Thursday. The new computer is right next to me right now, getting its migration done because I don't sit around and wait for my technology to break. First opportunity that it needs a little love, gets a little love. All right, YouTube membership. Here's the way this works. There are a lot of ways that you can support what we're doing with this channel. If you love our YouTube videos, if you love the broadcasts we do like this, they're supported by members like you. Members have dedicated between $1 and $20 per month to support this channel and make it easier for us to produce great content like this. As many of you are probably aware, I have an actual job. This is not my full-time job. What you guys do to support me makes me able to spend more time and more attention on building great videos for you and expanding this community and helping all of us with our Apple technology. You can hit that QR code or you can go to the YouTube webpage and click the join button. As I said, membership begins as low as 99 cents a month, goes as high as $20 a month. The biggest thing you get from the membership, outside of the feel-good feeling of I'm helping Dylan and I'm making things easier for other people with their technology, we have live member-only broadcasts. We also have members-only posts. And in most cases, when I release my YouTube videos, I release them to the members first and then to the public a little later on. So if you'd like to be on the inside, get the scoop firsthand, and have a better way to communicate and connect with me if you do have issues, membership is the easiest and least expensive way to connect with us. And I think we hit 65 actually. I think we're over 60 as of last week. I said I was going to schedule my YouTube Live for members last week. I did not. I will schedule it today. You have my word on that. I'll make sure that happens. So if you'd like to participate in that members only live stream, go ahead and become a member today and you'll get the notification when I schedule it later today.
Excellent. Get you back with the iPhone.
Let's go.
All right.
Let's go. Got my little Dylan Happy Tech dance. So, journals, right? What do you want to journal about? I mean, do you sit down in the morning and you go, I want to journal about gratitude, or I want to journal about the coffee I just had, or about what my day's like? You can journal about anything, and it's always going to be valuable. Whatever you take the time to get out of your head and put into the journal is going to be valuable for you, if not today, down the road when you reflect back on what you captured. But there are certain reoccurring things that are really, really, really helpful to track. And the first one we're going to talk about is books. So I have been on a book reading craze. I mean, like ridiculous. I'm ripping through books right now. I've worked really hard to build this habit. But my biggest problem with this habit is after I'm done with reading a book, how do I remember what I learned? Well, good news, because what I've started to do is when I'm finished with a book, I take a picture of the cover and give a little bit of information about the book, what it was about, what I learned in it, other information. In addition to that, let's find the other book that I have here. Oh, go this way. Sorry, I didn't mean to make anybody dizzy with that little scroll there. Wasn't sure where the actual post was. Here, what you'll see is in addition to the words I took down, I also captured photographs of some of my favorite passages in the book. So my new habit is when I'm reading the book, if I see something that I want to capture, I take a picture of it immediately. And I want you to notice it's really easy to take a picture of your book. And you might think I just wrecked a good book with a highlighter, but that's a digital highlight. I actually highlight it within the Photos app. And I'm going to show you how to do that super easily in just a second. Now, I'm using book reading tracking as just an example. There's a million other examples. I'm going to talk about another one in a moment. But if you are a book reader and you wish you had an easy way to know what books you read and what you captured from those books years down the line, this may be the solution for you. So it's going to start like this. I'm going to pretend that I've finished this book, which I haven't finished. I'm almost done with it. I'm going to click the plus button. I'm going to just go right into a new entry, easy enough to do. And I'm going to take a picture using my camera button, take a picture of the book cover, click use photo. I'm not going to give it a full description, but I'm just going to write something down to get us started here. Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Actually, that should be in the title. That was my mistake. Let's move that over here. This book chronicles an interview that Napoleon Hill claims to have had with the devil, giving all sorts of secrets about how to live a good life, how to be a good human being, and how to avoid the devil's grasp. Period. Whether you believe in the devil or not is irrelevant. ... The lessons that are learned are timeless. Period. Great. We've now got the beginning of our post here, but I've been capturing pages of this book for the last couple of days while I've been reading it. So I'm going to click into my Photos app right here, which fortunately opened right up to some of these pages. Boom, 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 boom. Click Done in the upper right-hand corner, and those pages have now been captured into this journal. You can continue on. I could make a whole lot of other information. If you've not read this book, mind-blowing book for me, and it's been on my shelf for 10 years. I've actually got 2 copies because people kept giving it to me as a gift, and I never read it. Never wanted to admit it, but now I can tell you, I never read it. I'll be finished with it tomorrow. I could fill out all sorts of information here, but I don't need to because the basic information's there and I can come back and fill it in later. But there is one crucial piece that I want to share with you that's the MacWhisperer Power Tip. For clarity, the journal app is brand new. It's not even a year old. It's brand new. And as a part of being brand new, there's some features that Apple has kind of held back for future releases. One of them is the ability to recognize hashtags. It does not currently exist. It's not currently one of the tools we've got, which is really unfortunate because hashtags are super helpful for being able to organize stuff. So what I'm going to do in this post here is I'm going to create my own hashtag. The fact that Apple doesn't technically support it means nothing right now. You can still manually add it. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to actually use an actual hashtag. For people who don't understand hashtags and tags in general, they were always intended as an easy way to find things. You could search for the word book, but the word book is going to show up in 9 million different places. But hashtag book? Well, that's only going to show up if I intentionally created it. So once I add hashtag book and click done, if I come into the search engine at the top of the screen here and type in the word hashtag book, don't forget the hashtag or every post that has the word book is going to show up, which is going to be annoying. Here we've got my Outwitting the Devil, Leadership Secrets of Attila the Hun, Atomic Habits, Way of the Superior Man, all the books that I've read this year captured with their title, their author, their information, tagged with #book, and photographs of pages and information about the book. Think about it like your own personal reference library for all the great information you've gained and gathered through your reading habit. But again, a reading habit, maybe not for everybody. Maybe you're not a reader. That's okay. Let me give you another thing that I've been tracking. And to me, this is a critical part of a healthy relationship. I'm about to hit my 3rd anniversary with my wife, Julie. We love each other. But one of the greatest tools I got, and I got this from one of the men in my men's circle 20 years ago, schedule a weekly date night. Whether you're just dating or you're engaged or you're married, even if you've been married for 30 years, if you do not have this practice, it will change everything for you. So I have created a phenomenal date night practice from the beginning of dating my wife. From the very, very beginning, we have always, every week, had a date night. And we're out at date night about 2 or 3 weeks ago. My wife turned to me and goes, "You know what we should be doing? We should be putting this in the journal so that we can reflect back on our date nights years and years and years from now." And that's exactly what we've done. So here you can see a post from this last week's date night, which was actually a 3-day date night, if you can believe it. We went out for dinner on Thursday night and saw a comedy show. We've tagged some information about the comedy show. This is, I think, Julie and I at the comedy show, I believe. Hard to tell from that screen, but I believe that's that. On Friday night, I took my wife out to a sushi restaurant, which she loves sushi, but I had to kind of push her out of her comfort zone a little bit. And then on Saturday, we went with my son to a live orchestra presentation of the movie Whiplash, where they even had a photo booth that we could take fun pictures like this at. And so between all those pieces, I've captured the photographs, I've captured the locations, although I can only capture one location. Annoying, but hey, limitations of a beta 1st generation app. And then I came in and gave a very specific explanation of what happened. Our Thursday night, what we did, who we saw at the comedy show, what we had at dinner, all of the information. And then at the bottom, there's our friendly little #date night, which means that anytime I want, I can come into my search engine, #date night, if I can spell it right, there we go. And I will see all of the date night entries since we started this practice at the beginning of the year, showing the movies we went to, the massages we enjoyed, the dinners we had, the fun we had, and more. If you're looking for a great way to spice up your relationship, consider a date night, weekly date night schedule, and then consider capturing those date nights in your journal so you can look back and remember all the amazing times that you have together as a couple. But date night and books may not be the sole thing you want to journal about. As I've been tracking it, there's a ton of other things you can use. Maybe you need a food tracker and you want to keep track of the food that you're eating and the calories that you're consuming. You can easily take pictures of your food. You can use ChatGPT or other things in order to grab the caloric intake, add that into a journal entry. You could use it for your exercise training. How many reps did you do at the gym today? Did you get up to 200 pounds lift weight? What are you currently working on? You could track injuries if you unfortunately happen to have injuries, you need to bring a bunch of information to your doctor. You can track the injuries, you can take pictures of what's happening, voice memos of how you're feeling, you can tag it with your mood. You could become a gratitude journal, tagging #gratitude and finding all of your gratitude posts in one place by searching for them. There are literally no end to what you can journal about, but thinking about the different methods for journaling will give you the ideas to move you forward. And just to kind of wrap this whole concept up, so we have a little bit of time for you guys and some questions, I'm going to go into my journal and I'm going to talk about what I created as a very new journal entry today. It's right here. Yep, that's right. I bought a new Mac. Now, let's talk about this. I buy a ton of technology, a ton of it. I buy phones, I buy cameras, I buy drones, I buy screens or monitors or webcams or new keyboards or whatever anybody like throws my way. If it looks cool, I'm going to buy it, I'm going to test it out. But here's the problem. I don't have anywhere for me to capture my thoughts on it. Sure, I could use notes, and I'm sure as we get into the Q&A, someone's going to say to me, what's the difference between journal and notes? I already love notes. But there's something different about the way the journal prompts me and puts all the tools in my hand. So starting today, every new technological purchase will be photographed, documented, and potentially used to create an article or a blog post directly from the journal app. Just copy and paste that information right into whatever my blog solution is, whatever program I'm using. And of course, at the bottom, I've got my friendly hashtags, hashtag tech, and hashtag reviews. This will allow me to go back years from now and keep track of all the purchases that I've made, what I liked and what I didn't like, and I can even come in and use the mood tracker for very pleasant or good God, that was terrible. And it makes everything so simple for me to capture easily and keep track of things. That is really the key of journaling. It's two parts. It's the part of getting it out of your head so you can see it, and the part of reflecting back on it later so you can bring it in a different way, experiencing that event as if you were there all over again. So that is the journal app. I'm going to come back to Frank, and let's step into the next piece here.
Did you hear the applause? You didn't hear it? You did hear it. Okay.
Oh, the applause was because I finished quickly, or because it was good, or both.
Yeah, it was just excellent. Another fine live broadcast today on journaling. So we got a little time today, which is great. We have a bunch of questions. I gotta tell you, the community in live broadcast is just coming full circle. People are just answering questions for one another. There's a lot of communication. Just case in point. Bonnie had asked a question. She's asking it directly to another membership or another person in the chat, which is Manny. How do you add colors to your palette? So Manny comes right back and says, goes through all step by step, right? And then he actually explained how he used a dropper to save those exact colors into his palette. I mean, there's a whole thing going on aside from you teaching. There's like things going on in the background. It's great.
I love that. I say it a lot in my live classes, and maybe I don't say it enough here. The reason that I do what I do has nothing to do with technology. I love tech. I grew up with technology. I love the iPhone, my Mac, and all that stuff. But my favorite thing, and the reason it's a perfect job for me to take care of people's technology, is because I love people. I love meeting people. I love connecting with them. I love helping them. But I really love creating those relationships. It's almost my superpower. And I love that Manny just came right in to join in this membership in our classes. He's come and grabbed a hold of everybody. He was one of my first YouTube members, and getting to know people like that, people like Bonnie, people like we've got Deborah's on this call. We've got a handful of my members and clients and friends. I mean, that's really what it is I'm not building a client base. I'm building a network of friends and relationships, and I love that you guys are spreading that love out in the chat. It warms my. I want to do a journal entry about how good I'm feeling about it right now, except I'm going to wait till we're done with the broadcast.
That's great. So Jill is actually. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I wondered if you want to share the fixed QR for the smart guide, or you can do that in a moment.
Yeah, let's do it after this, because Jill's asking, she's assuming that she can copy and paste into notes, and then somebody else is actually asking what's the difference between journal and notes. So maybe we can wrap that together.
So let's start with notes. First of all, yes, Jill. Hi, Jill. I know Jill. That's awesome. I'm so glad you're here. Jill's been one of my clients forever, for 20 years. It's amazing. So great to have you here on this broadcast, Jill. You can absolutely copy and paste essentially from any app to any other app. There's almost no apps that don't let you do that. So you can journal in the Notes app and then copy and paste it over to Journal if you want to, or you can journal in the Journal app and copy and paste it over to Notes. But the real question is, Why would you want it in two places? Why not put it where you want it to be? One of the tricks that I talk a lot about, it's the principle I call the what goes up must come down principle. What you move over, you've got to move back. What you pull up, you've got to pull down. So if you are creating things in the wrong app, copying and pasting them and moving them over to the app that you want, you've created a what goes up must come down. You're now creating an extra step that didn't need to be there every single time. But yes, you absolutely can, just don't make it a habit, because either use notes or use journal for this. Using both is going to be complicated. Now, what is the difference between notes and journal? First off, I use notes for all my documentation, which means there are thousands and thousands of notes in there. And yes, I 100% could do everything we're doing here inside of notes and keep it in a folder called date night, but there's a lot of manual steps in doing it in notes. There's a lot of click here, click there, copy this, copy that. Whereas journal was made for this functionality, and so all the tools are right there. Yeah, you can't follow Dylan and Manny at the same time, Lauren. You're just going to have to pick one. Pick me. Sorry, Manny, pick me. Just joking. Watching the chat roll by. So Notes is great, but to me, Notes is this big, vast, powerful tool that I'm already using for so many things. I keep track of all of my outlines, all the notes, all the emails that I send, any references to client passwords and codes, and the list of all the YouTube videos that I want to create, and the outlines of all the YouTube videos I have created. They're all in Notes. Notes is so full and getting so much use that it's kind of a nice vacation to be in something that isn't filled with all this other documentation. It allows me to focus on the journal. I also really like that, unlike in the way Notes does things, if I'm inside of Notes, and we'll just give an example, I can be inside of one note, but if I want to see the next note, I got to get out of it and then go into the next note. It's this constant back and forth, back and forth. But the way the journal operates is a little bit different, because it's taking these entries and it's condensing them into a paragraph already on one screen, making it easier for me to come in and look at all my date nights. And we'll just do that one more time so I can see it here. Allowing me to look through all my date nights in one scroll without going back, forth, back, forth, back. Which was the one that we wanted? Was it the one when we went to sushi or the here? Notes forces you to go back and forth, and since everything in this app is journal, there's no need to go back and forth. It's just an up and down scroll, and I can get a really good glance at to what something is without going back and forth. And then if I need more information, I can click into it and expand it, and I can come back and I can edit it. It's automatically dated, and it just makes it so easy to tag all those pieces, from the photos to the camera to the voice memo, without the complexity, and this is a weird thing for me to say, without the complexity of creating a note. I say it's weird because notes are not hard to create, but compared to a journal entry, they are. So if you practice in the journal app just specifically for journaling, you're going to find it's a lot easier. The other reason, and this is something that has come up with a lot of clients, I have a lot of clients who have been journaling for years in their Notes app, for years. What they do is they have one note called Journal. And each time they write on it, they scroll all the way to the bottom of the note, because it's got to be chronological. Hold on, that's 2022, 2023, 20. Okay, here we are. And then they type in their new journal entry at the bottom of it. Most of them do use it on their phone. They could use it on their computer, but they don't. And then they go about their business. And the next day they come in and they all the way back down to the bottom, and they click on it again. This is automatically reverse chronological order, and you don't have to scroll backwards 4 years in the past in order to track it. And if you are using a single note for your journal, you're not adding photos, you're not adding other stuff, because that's going to make that note extremely slow to load. There are cases where Notes is the perfect solution, and there's a lot of them. I love Notes. But when Apple releases a new app, it's worth kicking the tires and seeing if it can solve the problem easier, and for me, Journal has. I think that's that answer.
That's great. Can you set up notifications to remind you to journal reminders?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's underneath the three dots in the upper right-hand corner here where it says notifications. I went a little fast there. Let me go a little slower. Three dots here, notifications there. When you click that, it will open up the Settings app and take you into the notifications screen where you can choose your journaling schedule, how often you want to write, how often you want to be reminded, when you want to be reminded. That's this button up at the top here. And also, you can have it keep your streak by reminding you if you have not posted and having that come in the evening or before you're losing your streak. So for me, mine comes in at 9 p.m. Now, you'll probably notice as we were looking at my insights here, I have not been on a current streak. If anybody wants to know why, hit the QR code about the workshop we did last week. I've been uber busy this week. Uber busy in putting all these pieces together for you, for the members, for the new people who are signing into my courses. And as a result, I'm behind on the journal, but I guarantee you the notifications have reminded me that I was behind every day this week.
We have, I'm going to post this, the Herminator. I like when people just give little side notes. We don't usually have time for that. We have a little extra time today. I found this endearing. As a caregiver for his wife, he documents everything and shares it through journaling with his doctors. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I call it a memory walk. And it's an ability for you, especially if you've got somebody with Alzheimer's or memory issues. And if I remember correctly, Herman and I have connected a couple of times. I believe his wife has Alzheimer's and he's her main caretaker. Being able to, throughout your day, take pictures of things, take pictures of people, take pictures of important moments, and have them in an app where it doesn't require searching or anything. She can literally just scroll through the app and relive the last week, month, or year of anything that Herman's put into that journal for her. And if you know anybody with dementia or Alzheimer's, it is heartbreaking. But they're still there. And if you can give the right prompt, you can open the door into that conversation. Frank, I know you've struggled with that in your family too, and it's something we've talked about. This is a potential way to trigger those memories. I know, may I share a piece about your dad? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
So Frank is an amazing guitar player, and his dad, unfortunately, suffering from early stage dementia, I believe. And Frank went over and played music for his dad and the entire community, and his dad just lit up because music triggers parts of the brain that can push past that dementia. Guess what? Using the voice memo inside of the journal, you could record a song, you could add a song, you could sing a song, and you could have that right there for Herman or anyone else who wants to share audio memories as easily as you do photos and visual memories.
That's great. Along those lines, Beverly's asking, I like this question too. What's the best way to save smart guides? Got a suggestion?
It's a great question. So here's the piece. Most people are really confused about where to put documents and how to store things and organize things on their computer. I understand you may be on an iPad or an iPhone, but just translate that to the proper device. We're going to say computer in this case. I love notes, but I do not love filling it with PDFs. To me, PDFs don't look good in notes. The key for storing PDFs or any sort of documentation is to have a specified folder somewhere on your computer, ideally either on your desktop or in your documents folder, because both of those share automatically with iCloud Drive. Then by having that entire folder with all of them there, and you can create separate categories or subfolders, here's our one smart guides for the phone or smart guides for the iPad, then even when you're on your phone or your iPad, you can go into the Files app and you can easily access that information. The Files app is a completely unsung hero of the Apple ecosystem, and it enables you to take whatever you've got on your computer and bring it directly. I'm drawing in red, Frank. That's not going to help. Nobody can see that. The backdrop is red. Let me see if I can change that to a white. Here we go. Okay, so this is the Files app. Every person I ever talk to about it says, that's not on my phone. I've never downloaded that. And then I tell them to search for it, which you can do by clicking the search button at the bottom of your phone, and they'll type in the word files and they'll go, how did that get there? Apple put it there. Why did Apple put it there? Because the phone and the iPad don't have a place to store files, but the computer does and iCloud does. By using the Files app, you can access anything easily from your computer, from your iPad, from your phone, anywhere, from Dropbox, from Google Drive, all these pieces. So my recommendation for you is to take those files, save them into a folder on your desktop or in your Documents folder, give it a nice, easy name, and then if you want access on an iPad or an iPhone, open up the Files app, navigate your way to your desktop or your Documents folder. There's my desktop here. There's my Documents folder right beneath it. Select that folder, and you can even come in and favorite a folder by pressing and holding on it and clicking down. Oh, it's not going to show it there. There it is. And clicking down at the bottom where it would normally say favorite, but this is already a favorite folder, so mine says unfavorite. That would give you instant access to the smart guides on every one of your devices easily without clogging up notes. And far be it from me to say don't use notes, but I have maybe 10 attachments in notes. I use notes for text. I don't use it for attachments. I occasionally use it for photos, but I do not store PDFs there because it's just easier to put them in a folder. Lorna's suggestion is also a good one. She uses the Books app. The Books app is great for organizing PDFs, and it does synchronize across all your devices. So thank you, Lorna. You get gold star today because that is a great suggestion. But I still say if you're afraid of your filing structure on your computer and you don't know where to put and save things so that you can find them, you should be joining me in some of the classes we've got, because that's exactly what we're talking about this month and next month. How to organize your file structure, how to find things, how to use cloud storage properly, and how to confidently know where to put things so you can find them easily. Lorna's suggestion is great. I have no complaints with using books, unless the only reason you're doing that is because you have no idea where else to put things. Use books, but learn where to put things. Frank, I think it's a great opportunity if you want to pull back up the membership offer, not the YouTube, but our MacWhisperer membership offer. And I'll just reiterate what we do in the MacWhisperer. I'm waiting for you to pull it up.
I'm sorry, are you talking about the special offer that's going on between now and this week? Yeah. It includes 100%. The workshop replays and whatnot. Yeah, absolutely. Let's bring it back up.
Okay, so if you struggle with your technology, if you're overwhelmed by your emails, if your address book looks like something exploded, you don't even remember half the names that are in there anymore, there are better tools for you to use. And learning how to use those tools will not only save you time, but it will save you time and then save you time and then save you time in an exponential habit that will allow you to get much more done every day easier. And so if you hit this QR code or jump into that link, as Frank said, we're sharing all 3 replays from our recent workshop, and there's an offer that'll make it easy for you to try out the MacWhisperer membership. If you are interested, please don't wait. The MacWhisperer class is this Saturday. So we'll be talking this Saturday specifically about file storage and how to organize your computer in a better way so you have less clutter and know where to find your files. And whoever it was that asked the question about where to put the smart guides, I'm so glad you asked that question, because this is one of the foundation blocks of technology that most people don't have. And as a result, they're doing all sorts of things a complicated and difficult way because they're afraid of it. Get away from the fear. Let's gain some knowledge. This is a great way to tap into that, and you're going to get the iPhone Masterclass completely for free, even if you leave the membership 10 seconds after you join. That's my gift to you, because I want to make the way you use your phone simpler and easier. And these are the best tools that I've got to do that. The YouTube videos are great, the YouTube lives are great, but the interaction in my live classes takes everything to another level, and the organization inside my masterclass for the iPhone makes it so simple for you to learn on your own in an easy, organized way. I've been teaching for 20 years. I know how to make it simple.
I love the classroom. It's a Zoom setting, so everybody gets to raise their hand, ask questions. We bring everybody up if they want to be on camera. It's like you said, it's brings everybody in next level. Yeah, I know you touched upon this before, Dylan, and we understand that not everybody's here the entire time. But Kevin wanted to know if there's a journal app to be on the MacBook. You had touched earlier that they usually start things on iPhone and then it rolls out to iPad and whatnot. Is that pretty much the answer?
My guess would be that when the next operating system is released in September, October for the Mac and the iPad, that the Journal app will be a part of it. I don't have any proof or information on that other than history, and the history is things launch on the phone first and then move over to the other devices. For example, the Photos app, I know everybody dislikes the Photos app after iOS 18. I actually like it. But the Photos app, when it was first released back in 2012, was released on the iPhone for a year and a half before it made its way over to the computer. So it's entirely probable that it will be released within the next year-ish. But don't wait. As I said earlier, Kevin, especially, I love journaling. I love a big screen. I love a keyboard. I love a mouse. I love my computer. I love my iPad. But my phone's in my pocket and none of the other stuff is. And when I want to write something down or capture something, I usually don't want to wait until I'm back home. Oh my God, this amazing thing happened. I got to talk about it. I got to journal about it. I saw this amazing movie. I don't want to forget how powerful it was. Pull out my phone, tap, 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 tap. Done. Don't avoid this app because you want it on a bigger screen. Play with it here, and then when it comes to the MacBook or the iPad, use it there. Here's my guess. The people who tap into using the Journal app on the iPhone will continue to use it on the iPhone even when it is available on the iPad and on the computer because it's in their pockets and it's portable and it's easier. But I'm sure it'll make its way to the other devices shortly.
I put my email in the chat as I always do. Any questions that we didn't get to and people would like to reach out to us, we always answer them. I get them over to Dylan. And so please don't be afraid to use my email. It's been overworked this week with the workshop, but bring it.
Do we need to pull up the smart guide now that you fixed the link?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it. I think I just put it in the. I think I just put it in the chat a little while ago as well. That's all updated. Thank you everyone for bringing that to my attention.
I'm just going to say one last thing as we kind of wrap stuff up. Obviously, the Smart Guide is a really valuable tool, but the most valuable tool that we've got here is the relationships that we're creating. What happened in the chat today with Manny and Bonnie and Herminator, and there was a whole love fest going on in the chat, and it just, as I said before, it just thrills me because that's why I do this. I don't do this so that we can be like this all day. Like, okay, I've now learned my phone, now I'm never going to leave the phone screen. I do that so that the work we do on our phone, computer, and iPad can be done and set aside earlier so you can spend more time chatting, connecting, loving, doing a date night, reading smart guides, reading awesome Napoleon Hill books. The more time you pull away from your technology while still getting the same amount or more done, the more time you have for all the really important things in our lives and the relationships we can create. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for being a part of my life, a part of what we're doing at the Mac Whisperer, and I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope to see you soon.
Excellent.